I'm now on my way to meet with Jim Boykin from Internet Marketing Ninjas. I've known him, again, one of these people I've known for like 15 years. Previously, his company name was We Build Pages. He's changed it to Internet Marketing Ninjas. He's one of the people that's been in the SEO industry for a really long time. He's known as the link building maven or guru or whatever you want to call it. And I'm looking forward to talking to him. Walking into Internet Marketing Ninjas. You can see from the sign behind me, has the old sign too, We Build Pages. So double bang. We all know how important site speed is, not just when it comes to improving your user experience and conversion rates on your website, but a little search engine named Google uses page speed as a ranking factor. That is where Ezoic comes in, with their standalone site speed accelerator. This tool is guaranteed to improve your site speed, not just for your visitors, but also will give you an 80+ score on your Google Page Speed Insights. Ezoic guarantees it. Ezoic also offers a whole suite of publisher tools, not just for site speed, but also for ad technology, compliance features, analytics, and so much more. So check them out at www.ezoic.com. Thank you, Jim, for having me here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, Barry. It's a privilege and an honor to have you at the Ninjaplex.
It's awesome. I mean, I've known you, probably almost 16 years now, I think.
Yeah, I think the first interview I went down to see you, and I think I was an anonymous guy doing three-way link trading, and it was like, but you're not allowed to mention my name, but
right.
The link trading is dead. It's now three-way trading.
I found that interesting. You actually came to my office and say, do you want to, I think it was like, nice to meet you, but do you want to do three-way link or something like that? I'm like,
probably.
No,
on,
but
I got some spare sites. You give me some links.
It was interesting because like in-person link building, it was, but you, let's get into you are synonymous with link building, at least in my mind. Obviously, you don't want to maybe be pictured as that now. It's more content marketing and so forth. But this man sitting next to me has, I don't even know how to, basically you've done things in the industry where top SEO experts were like, how did you do that? I remember things around the sandbox error. I remember things around Florida. I remember things throughout almost every single major Google milestone where people were like, how did he do that?
Some of it was luck.
some of it was luck. And maybe we'll talk about that luck, which is, I don't know how many people know about that story. But at first, could you please tell people who you are, what your name is, what you do, and so forth?
My name is Jim Boykin. I'm the CEO and founder of Internet Marketing Ninjas. We've been in business for more than 20 years. It started out with just me, and we've grown throughout the years. I think we have a little over 40 employees now. So the majority of our work is content marketing. Some people may call it link building, but I guess things have evolved now to where we're writing great content and then marketing that content. Whereas in the past, if you go back to 2008 or earlier, it was who cares about the content? Let's just get links to money pages. And
right.
Those days are over with, unfortunately.
And like I was saying before you introduce yourself, you are pretty much, I don't know if you get credit for building this concept of link building, but you're probably one of the pioneers in the concept of link building in SEO. Would you consider that true?
Well, there were certainly other pioneers as well. Of course, people like Eric Ward, and
right.
I remember way back in the day with SEO guy Carey and Patrick Gavin. There were a lot of us at the kind of beginning realizing that it's all about page rank and getting links, and that's the key. So
right.
Early on, I caught on to that, and that's kind of what I focused really my life on is link building. Although the past several years, there's been a lot of link removals for Disavow. So we've had a lot of people have come to us and said, hey, we've got this Google penalty. How do we get out? So then it's doing Disavow. So as much as my team has built a lot of links, we've also removed a lot. So
it would be interesting if you had a stat somewhere hanging off in the number of links built.
I probably could pull up numbers for you.
That would be what would you think off the top of the head, the number of links you've built over the years? You even count a billion? Is it like even possible to think of?
Well, I would be including my team, and
of course.
The team usually has anywhere from 15 to 25 content marketers. I know that last year we limited the amount of links that we would build to 10,000 for the entire year. So I think last year we had a limit, of 9,000. So we capped it at those particular limits because good good link promoting or content marketing can't really be done at scale. We can't take the amount of work we do and double or triple it. It's just going to get spammy.
Got it. All right, so let's push links on the side for a second. I don't know much about what you did before you did SEO. Can you tell us a little about your history before SEO?
Sure. Went to college for 3.5 years. And then before my last semester, I said, I think I'll take a break before I have to go into the real world. And I think I'll go up to Alaska and work there and then go back and finish school. So I went up to Alaska, worked up in Alaska for 5 months. And then I'm like, ooh, this travel and stuff is really cool. So I never returned to school. In the next 4 years, I traveled around the country, working in national parks. So I worked in Shenandoah National Park. I worked in Death Valley, Big Bend, Crater Lake, Grand Tetons, a lot of national parks around the country, and kind of came back in early '99, and my parents were like, Jim, you should get a computer. There's this thing called the internet now. And so saved up and got a computer, got online. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a website designer. Like, what is this language? It's HTML, okay. And built up a website, and about a week later, someone in Atlanta, Georgia, they called me up. It's like 1,000 miles away from me, and they said, hey, can you build our website? I'm like, well, how is it that you found me? You're in Atlanta, Georgia. She goes, well, I went to Alta Vista and typed in build web pages, and you were on the first page. I'm like, what is Alta Vista? She's like, well, there's these things called search engines. In any case, like after that phone call, I was just pacing around the room going like, oh my God, search engines are making the world smaller. This is the future of the world and the internet. And so I never really became a good designer, but luckily I was fairly good at the marketing side of it.
That's amazing. I remember even like before, like Alta Vista was like the Yahoo directory, and it was like we have to get into the Yahoo directory because people were not like searching the Yahoo, but kind of browsing the Yahoo directory.
Keywords with dashes in it, and then we would submit to Yahoo with keywords with dashes in it, the right description, and then we'd add an explanation point on the end of the description because we knew they had to change something. So on their end, they would get it, remove the explanation point, change it to a period, and do everything exactly like we wanted to. And it was fun. Keywords with dashes was a wonderful trick years ago.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting because a shame they got rid of the Yahoo directory. I think it was like 2 years ago. But the claim to fame for any SEO was your website on a free grandfathered in Yahoo directory listing. And if you weren't a free grandfather in Yahoo directory listing, you're like a second generation SEO. And nobody wants to be a second generation. I don't know. But anyway, it's fun to go through the history.
Well, it was also the debate because Google said you shouldn't buy links.
Right.
But they also would recommend, well, you should submit to directories like Yahoo. And it's like, well, Yahoo's $300 a year. That's a paid link.
Right. Oh my God. It's like the same conversation, but things have changed over the years. And that line of what is black hat SEO or what is not allowed in terms of links, especially with the Nofollow stuff, has changed drastically. I think the Nofollow attribute came out in 2005, January 2005, specifically to prevent comment spam. And that link, Nofollow attribute, has really changed SEO completely.
Yeah, now it's user-generated content, and are they going to give that some kind of credit or not? Before they felt it was all spam. Now if you do USG, is that going to give it some credit?
Can I ask you, do you think that some SEOs, especially in the link building world, felt that Nofollow attributes on the link side were counted by Google? Now that they came out with the new Nofollow saying it's now no longer a directive, but it's a hint, do you believe, what do you thought?
Sure. I don't think I know there's some people that suspected they always used it. I don't. I suspected that they weren't following no-followed links or giving them credit. Now they're saying, well, we might follow some of those, especially if the site itself no-follows like everything and we feel that it's trusted. So, of course, everyone's like, well, the Wikipedia, we need to get links from the Wikipedia. So the Wikipedia is going to get spammed, and then there's going to be a fallout from that, where any company that tried to get a page in there is going to get marked by someone where all their stuff got deleted. And the Wikipedia links, of course, may count. My thought is if a link gets clicks, that will probably count. If a link doesn't get clicks, it probably will not count.
Right.
So one of my theories would be if a link gets clicked and it's no followed and it appears to be a good user experience, that may count.
How will Google know if somebody clicks a link?
Well, they've got the Chrome browser.
So you believe that Google does use Chrome browser data,
yeah.
even though Google has said numerous times that they don't.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's always good to pick and I trust everybody. That's my problem, and I believe when Google says over and over again, we don't use Google Analytics data, we don't use Chrome data, we don't follow links in Nofollow actions, I believe them, and I don't know why.
There's parts where they may, and there's parts where they might, and there's parts where the person that's saying it might not know about one of the parts that may, and it may like indirectly, and it's kind of hard when the Google guy says something because it's some truth to it and some other stuff that things can still have an impact in an indirect way.
I mean, like the Realm Next Prev, for months and months, maybe years, it was something that Google didn't support when they said they were supporting it, just because this part of the company wasn't talking to this part of the company. So things could happen. But I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Google lies. I don't think like John Mueller or Gary or whoever is outright looking in our face and lying to us.
Correct. I 100% agree.
So it's just interesting to get that perspective from people. Let's go back to the history of stuff. So you built We Build pages back when your parents told you to get a computer. So they own 95% of this company, I believe.
No, it's all me now.
Okay. Anyway, and then you changed the name of the company to Internet Marketing Ninjas. Before you said why, was that a hard thing to do? Because you branded We Build pages for what, 10 plus years?
Yeah, it was. When every time we'd go to a conference, people would stop by our booth and go, "We build pages. Oh, you design websites?"
Right.
No. Oh, you write content? No. Well, what do you do? Well, we build links, and there was just too much of that. So yeah, I decided to rebrand it. We were kind of known as the Link Ninjas. So the We Build Pages Link Ninjas, and we did have an Internet Marketing Ninja training program. So it was easier to switch to Internet Marketing.
The sign outside says We Build Pages and Internet Marketing.
It does, yeah. When we moved into this building, we were still We Build Pages.
Interesting. Cool. And the marketing shift, I think, has gone pretty well. I think people now recognize both names and mostly this name, which is good. Yeah. So awesome. Congrats on that. So it was mostly about the confusion about what the name was, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And the services we offered. It just didn't describe what our services were. When I started with We Build Pages, I thought I was going to be a website designer.
Yeah.
And I was being fancy because the we was me, myself, and I. So it was one way to look like a bigger company, and I'm just one guy designing websites.
I don't know. I have a bigger problem. My company name is Rusty Brick. It means absolutely nothing. So, so I get that. And then, as you know, I'm like, you've been part of the forums for a long time. I've been part of the forums for a long time. I think you still pop in there here and there. I still, obviously, every day look at them. I don't really communicate in there, but I know you several years ago purchased Webmaster World and SEO Chat, I believe, and a couple other forums.
Create a site, the whole DevShed
which kind of shocked me. It was like, but I believe the reason behind that was to kind of, maybe I can correct me if I'm wrong, is to kind of brand your company as more part of the actual SEO community. And then I think you sold some of them back.
So I was the owner and CEO for 5 years, and then I sold most of those communities back to Brett Tabke. So Brett Tabke got Webmaster World and all the DevShed stuff, and Kim got her site back. So it was just stepping away. There was a few years ago, back in 12, 13, 14, were very hectic. We were a bigger company. We had lots of all-stars. We had the forums. We were too big, I guess. I had the personal assistant, so if I needed something, I'd tell the personal assistant. Personal assistant would tell the director of whatever department, who would tell the department, and it got to be too much. The current size we've been for 4 to 5 years now, between 40 and 50, I found is the perfect size. I no longer having a personal assistant. I'm on the front lines with the clients. I'm on the front lines with the employees, and it's much more easier to handle, I found.
It's interesting. I just find it interesting because you've been doing business for 20 plus years and learning from a person who has done. Somebody watching this might be wanting to start their own company and grow it really fast. I've always been against, at least for my company, is to keep it small. We're about 20 so people or so. Yeah. We do development. I like that, being able to be on top of stuff. And obviously, for each person, it's different. I know Brett Tapley is amazing at communities and building online forums, and by you giving him the chance of buying back those communities, I think it was a smart move for the overall community, because that's what he's an expert in, is building these communities. So it was amazing that you actually acquired it, gave Brett the opportunity to take it back, and then you said, hey, I'm going to focus in on what my core things are, and I think that's something that everybody here can learn in terms of that. And being in the business for so long, what would be like your top piece of advice in terms of business advice? Forget about SEO, link building, You've been through a lot, I think, over the years, and I'm curious. I didn't ask you to prepare this, but if there's anything that comes to mind.
You know, I guess some of my thoughts are find one thing and try and be the best at it. You know, throughout the years, we've often tried to delve into other services. All right, we do social media, we do pay-per-click, we do content, we do all these other services, and you know, the thing that I've always felt that we're the best at is the link building / content marketing. And you know, I guess if you're going to do something, try and become the world's best at it. At one thing, be the best at, and that's I guess that would be my advice. Pick one thing and try and be the world's best at that thing, and try and get that business.
No, you are. I mean, definitely known in the industry for. It's funny because I've spoken to people in the past, like, who would you recommend for this or that? And there's certain people who are great at content. There's certain people who are great at social media that people recommend. And your name keeps coming up over and over again in terms of the best company at doing content marketing / link building. So kudos on that.
It's changed a lot now. Where it really depends on I guess today you have to write great content and then market that great content. It's a lot different than things were 10 years ago. I guess in a sense we got lucky because you may remember, I think it was at the end of 2008 where Google came after a couple of our clients and pushed them down, and overnight we had to figure out, all right, how do we get links without giving someone cash? And at the time it really sucked. Like overnight we had to change our business. I think at that point it was like 97% of our income was link building, and overnight suddenly we had to stop doing it. It was made abundantly clear by Google that thou shalt not buy links specifically to us. And so at the time it really stunk, but looking back on it, I'm so glad because it kind of gave us a head start. Like years before Penguin or any of that happened, we had to figure out, all right, how can you get links that are going to be of value without paying people? And it may sound simple, write great content, but it's more write either some educational content or link baity piece content, and then promoting it to the right places. So
that was because back then when you get hit by a link penalty, it felt manual. It felt like it wasn't algorithmic based because your page rank would drop, and it felt like the links that were pointing out of your website weren't as beneficial. And it felt more manual than, obviously Penguin is just like really streamlined. It figures it all out and devalues links as opposed to, hurting links or hurting those links themselves. So
yeah, but it's interesting because that brings up the whole disavow thing. And do you disavow or do you not disavow? And about 3 months ago, a very large company came to us and they had a manual penalty. And this is a publicly traded $1 billion company. And they came to us and said, hey, we got this penalty. We submitted this disavow, and I think their disavow had like 40 domains in it. And It's like, this is out of hundreds of thousands. It's like, what's this? And of course, Google said no, and here's 3 example links, and we did some work, and I think they got out about a month, 3 weeks to a month after we did our work on that. But this is a $1 billion company. And if Google's just saying, hey, don't worry about your backlinks, we got it. Like, this company took a manual penalty. Like, it was a pretty darn serious thing. And, for them just to blanket say, don't worry about it, which I get why they say that. Because if I was Google too, I'd say, like, don't worry about the links, because I think more people do harm when they do a disavow. Right. People are looking at tools that are saying, hey, this is toxic, or this is spam, or this is bright green and good, and the site that's bright green and good may have had its page rank blocked years ago, and it's selling to everyone in the world, and it's an artificial network, but its domain authority or whatever is high, and so people are like, oh, that's good, and it's like, no, this is bad. The site's been penalized for years. It doesn't rank for anything. And the site that you say is bad is actually, it's a Cub Scout troop website, that's about as natural as it could be. It may not have a whole bunch of links to it, but it's certainly a good and real site. And, some of these tools would be like, this is bad, this is good. And I do think that 99% of people that do a disavow do more harm than good. And I think Carey even said that last week at PubCon. He said, if it was up to me, I would take away the disavow because too many people are shooting themselves in the foot. And I would kind of say, too many people are and doing worse than that. I did a post on Facebook a few weeks ago, and I asked, so how many people get out of a disavow on their first try? And some of the responses I got were like 97% of the time, 99% of the time. And I'm thinking, like, some of these people, they're disavowing like everything.
Right.
They're looking at everything and being like, oh, let's put all this in the disavow. And then, they get out and they're partying. The client's all happy. Yay, we got out. And then what happens to their traffic? It gets even worse. And then they're going, hey, what happened? We got out, but it appears Google still doesn't like us. And it's like, I do think more people do more harm than good when doing it.
But I think that's based on the communication over the years. I believe Matt Cutts, when it first came out, he was like, use it aggressively and use it widely. Remember?
Take a wide...
Machete, yeah. That was his thing. And I remember making graphics based on what he said. And that communication has changed, obviously, drastically with Penguin devaluing and being real time, I believe. And I guess, I believe Gary when he says people just disavow. I mean, I assume when a new client comes to you, you're not just blanketing a disavow file for that client automatically. I assume
if a new client comes to us, I am going to analyze their backlinks.
Right.
And if there's never been an issue, then if I do a disavow, it's going to be extremely conservative. Here's stuff that I absolutely know is scrapers. I absolutely know has zero value in any case. I know this stuff has never had a click from analytics. Like, I'm going to be very, very conservative if there's never been an issue. It's pretty much, if there's this many backlinks and, this chunk is bad and I remove this chunk, there's less of a chance of that site ever running into an issue. So I'm very conservative if a site's never had an issue. If a site has had an issue, I'm still pretty darn conservative because, you can remove everything and party, you get out, but, what are you going to have left?
Right.
And so it really needs, we have our own tools. I don't use any other tool out there. I don't believe in Moz numbers or Majestic or Ahrefs or SEMrush or any toxic tools or anything. I don't believe in any of those numbers. I believe in using our tools, which look for patterns, look at values, look at analytics, and deciding if something fits a pattern, is that pattern real or is it not real?
Right.
If it's not real, then we're going to disavow a lot of that.
Interesting. But would you be upset if Google got rid of the disavow concept completely? Are you ready for that?
They would have to do something. I actually thought that a while ago, I thought they were going to do that and announce it at PubCon, that they were going to do away with it. But then I see that Google says, no, we have no plans to do away with it. I guess they would have to do something in a manual case. Like, can there be a manual action then if they do away with a disavow? Because how do you get rid of those? Like, that people aren't going to physically remove them. I mean, the whole process of writing the sites being like, can you remove my link? Like, you get maybe 1 or 2 out of 1,000.
Right. I mean, I don't think Google wanted it ever. We kind of twisted their arm to give us this feature. So things happen.
If they didn't give any manual penalties, then I think they could get rid of the disavow. And if you don't like it, just don't count it. It's that simple.
Would you be okay with sharing? I'm just going back a little more. Would you be okay with sharing with the history about the sandbox? I think it was a sandbox. Some Google update.
It took years to rank a site. If you could start up a new site and it just wouldn't rank, you had to have the age.
Maybe it was I'm sorry. There was maybe the Florida update. Some update or something where you update? By accident did something to your website, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's a genius. He's ranking #1 after this update."
Well, everyone was talking about it in SEO chat forums.
Yeah,
I think you were in there too.
Yeah.
And
this is what, 2004?
I'm observing this. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm observing this, making changes to my code while people are commenting. So one person would be like, well, he has this piece of code, and what is this? And then I would go in and change the code. The next person would be like, well, this is what I see. And it was totally just messing with everyone. But it was, I think it was the Florida update, where pretty much, and this is going back, what,
so that's 2003, yeah, November 2003.
What happened with the Florida update is, I think like 80% of the results changed. Like, if you were in the top 100, I think after that, only 20% of the sites were still in the top 100. But the one thing that wasn't affected in that update was if you were a page rank 8 or higher, you weren't affected. And I think I had somehow earned a link from a site that was a PR 9, and that made us an 8, so we weren't affected by that update. I don't know if people knew at the time, but 8, 9, PR 8, 9, and 10s were not affected by Florida.
Untouchables.
We were an 8.
Yeah.
And I think even after I blocked our site with robot text, so Google then showed our DMOZ listing in there. Yeah, it was a funny thing.
Good times. Let's move away from links a little bit. So I know you are working on some stuff around feature snippets, and people also ask. Why is that so fascinating to you, the whole feature snippets, people also ask?
Well, it's no longer the 10 blue links.
Right.
And being number one for something today is not the same as being number one for something 10 years ago. Now you've got to scroll through, the featured snippets, which statistically are in 16% of search results now, according to Mozcast. So that's grown. Last year was 14%. This year we're up to 16%. So feature snippets position 0 are in 16% of search results, and that's really important. Below there is often the people also ask.
Right.
They're now in 89% of search results. So in looking at the data that I ran, 2 years ago was 38%, then last year it went to 58%. As of this month, they're up to 89%.
It surprises me. I never ever click on people also ask as a searcher.
Yeah.
I guess searchers are, because otherwise they wouldn't be.
It's there. I mean, Google's trying to give the answer on the page. We look at, all right, so feature snippets to me are extremely important. It's the new position 0, followed by the people also ask. It's really the same type of marketing to get those.
Right.
And then there's, all the other stuff that's in search results. But one of the other things that I find of interest is on the bottom of the page, there's the searches related to.
Yes.
Which currently, it's like the 10 links, you click on them and it brings you to a Google search. And now on mobile, they're changing it. They're starting to roll across mobile where there's a picture beside it and it's now a drop down.
Yeah.
So I think it's one more step in Google trying to give the answer on the page. That's why less than half of searches have clicks now. Google trying to give the answer on the page. But I guess, I'm very interested in it because I think the SEO, how do I say it? It's not what it was in the past, and that now really, I think a better phrase, better than SEO, would be SERP marketing. The search engine result page. What are all the things in there that you can get? And so, we've been building a tool. We have a tool called the Featured Snippet Plus tool. You can actually run it. You can get 3 URLs for free, so you can see what it does for free. Put in 3 URLs, and what it does is it grabs your 50 best ranking phrases for each page, and then it runs the searches and looks to see which one of those phrases shows featured snippets. It also will grab all the people also ask questions for all those phrases as well for that particular page. It'll also grab all of the searches related to. It also looks to see if any of those phrases show video on the first page of search results, because I think video are now in 22% of search result pages. Mm-hmm. So we look for all that data and which phrases show things like feature snippets. What are all the people also ask questions? What are all the searches related to questions? Which phrases show videos on there? And it kind of goes page by page, and you can go through there. There's a page optimizer. There's a whole bunch behind the tool, but I guess, at the least, if you're trying to optimize for things like feature snippets or people also ask, this tool to me is essential. It's like that's, you're gonna optimize for the featured snippets, for the phrases that show the feature snippets, and in a nutshell, that's, I could talk for hours about it,
right.
But to condense it down, like, have a good heading that includes the phrase you're targeting, and underneath it a short paragraph that describes it. So if that's on your pages, same with people also ask, try and have that question in the heading. So all pages, all product pages should have a section on the bottom, probably called people also, popular questions, or FAQs on the bottom of all the product pages. And then for stuff that's really popular, you should do a whole page about that topic. But yeah, this tool will help. I've been working a lot on that because it's no longer the 10 blue links. It's everything in the middle, and you need to analyze for all that and try and rank for all that.
What's the best way people can find this tool?
Go to Internet Marketing Ninjas, hover over tools, and you'll see the featured snippet tool, or just type in featured snippet tool into Google. I think we're number 1.
What's the page rank on that page?
I don't know.
8. Cool. Awesome. Well, you've built so many tools over the years. You've done so much for the SEO industry over the years. Communication, speaking, the forum stuff you've done, the conference sponsorships, like I said, the tools you've built. I mean, you just share more than most people, and also the relationships you've built. I met with so many people on this vlog, off the vlog, that have told me their career has started primarily because of you. So thank you for all you do for the SEO community.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for all the news that you bring us as well. Like, their search engine roundtable is my main source of news, and I thank you for all that you do for the community.
That's a link trade right there. In any event, how can people learn more about you and follow you?
Go to internetmarketingninjas.com. Feel free to friend me on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet a whole lot, but I'm out there. Just search for Jim Boykin, and you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So that's Jim Boykin for you. Again, very humble guy. He's literally one of the fundamental people when it comes to link building. Yet Eric Ward was the grandfather, the godfather of link building, but Jim Boykin deserves a lot of credit for what he's done over the years in terms of link building, both in terms of, pushing the envelope as far as he possibly could for us to learn from, as well as kind of like leading the way in terms of what link building or content marketing and SEO should be about. Love that he spent the time with me in terms of talking to me, inviting me to his office, talking to his team. Great having him in the community, and thank you so much, Jim.